Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ahead of this Opens pool play match, Hot Chili from Melbourne playing Sublime Ultimate from Western Australia. My name is Daniel Clanton. I'm joined by
Beck Walbridge.
Back
again.
Thank you for joining me on comms. Beck, tell me a little bit about these teams.
Oh, awesome. Well, being from Victoria myself, I probably know a little bit more about Hot Chili, but let's have a look at them first. So as we heard just from the captain, there's a lot of young up-and-comers. A couple of people to look out for. Micah, he's one of the newer players, who and Riley Wood, who I'd be keeping a bit of an eye on. Then we've got some of the old crew still knocking about, teaching them. So we've got Josh Lipari, who'll be one of your quick little handlers, directing play, and same with Michael Lau. So bit of an eye on them. Jasper as well is one of those players who will be dictating what's happening on the field and controlling the pace a little bit for those younger ones. So exciting things from them. Also with a coach, Aldon, who's been around the club, I think, since its formation, maybe. So having that experience there will make a huge difference. And having someone who's not on the field, I think being able to watch the play will also be able to help out a little bit more.
Aldon is a wealth of experience, world's representative many times, a legend of the sport here in Australia. So his perspective could be very, very valuable. Let's talk about Sublime.
Yeah, well, talking about world's experience, we've got Kylo, who is recently been given a position on the Crocs, which is a World Games team, which is kind of, I guess, to a certain extent, the peak of Ultimate Frisbee, a mixed game, kind of like one below the Olympics, I guess, because we're not in the Olympics yet. So congratulations to him. So he'll be instrumental in Sublime. Also got Jackson. We heard from him a little bit earlier. So he's kind of keen to show the rest of Australia what they've got and what type of talent they've got. And then Jeremy Ha, who one of those guys who just loves to put it. So it'll be interesting to watch his throws. There is a little bit of a breeze, as we heard earlier, and it was the same in the earlier game. It kind of comes and goes. So it'll be interesting to see early on, just as they're figuring each other out, what their plays are, where they kind of sit with each other. I'm sure there'll be a couple of little throwaways as they're testing the waters before they get into the game and really see what they've got. So I'm excited to see Sublime play. I think a lot of people are, just to see what they've been hiding the last couple of years.
Hiding possibly not on purpose. The border closures with COVID has certainly put a crimp in the style of Australian Ultimate. But with those border closures now opening up and life going back to, the new normal, we're back at Nationals. And Beck, as an experienced Division 1 coach yourself, you coached Juggernaut from the Heads of State Club.
Yep.
What kinds of instructions would you be giving to your team in this kind of situation? First game, day one.
Yeah, day one, early on. It's about really cementing the things that you've learnt and you've really put into practice in trainings. So making sure that you're sticking to your values, trusting the systems and the plays that you've put in place. Easier said than done, though. Lots of teams, you come in with great plans and then, you've got to change and adapt. So I guess just figuring each other out, get those nerves out early so that you can really get into the groove of things, and test yourself out a little bit. In early on in the pool play is when you can, give your newer players a bit of a run against some experienced ones to get some kilometres in the legs and get them really learning how to be challenged, so that if it comes to day 4 and you're in a final situation, they've had that experience against those top tier players and can really give it to them.
And with both teams fielding a lot of new players, a lot of rookies out there, I anticipate that it might not be the cleanest match, Beck. Do you think that will play out?
Absolutely. And I know, historically speaking, it may be a little bit different. Sublime doesn't mind a bit of physicality in the game. Chili, not so much. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out and whether Chili tolerates it, whether those younger players are comfortable with that physicality, because some teams love it and they're happy to have that physicality and it can create a really interesting contest. But there are some teams that, we are a non-contact sport, so theoretically there shouldn't be anything. But like in soccer and netball and all the rest, non-contact comes with its own inverted commas.
and when you have, some 14 men running flat out on a field, sometimes, that is one of the rules that there is room for a bit of an agreed meeting in the middle, shall we say.
So it'll be interesting to see if Chili early on say, no, we're not going to tolerate it, or if they're going to be all right with a little bit of argy-bargy. So we just had the siren go?
Yeah, that is time on. So our game clock will be fairly accurate this game. That's a good sign. Boche with the Frisbee in hand. He looks to be the one who is going to pull for Sublime. They're going to go on defense, running right to left to begin the game. This one is going to be good. Boche, a stalwart of the Sublime club. And here's the first pull of the game. It's a low one inside out. Oh. And Chilli will immediately work out of a horizontal offense. Galt centre the disc to Pentland. Pentland, that lefty style. That'll be an interesting wrinkle for the Sublime defense to hold, because right now their forehand force is a backhand for the lefty. Chilli working down the field. Ramsey back to Pentland. Pentland is just going to go outside in. It's going to float though. Boche in the area. It's off hands. Boche gets it.
Great quick movement there from Chilli. They were not holding onto that disc for very long.
But they've coughed it up, and we seem to have been a little bit prophetic insofar as there is a turn in the first point. Oh, will break the mark. Sublime, their chance to have some offense. A nice low release to Robertson. He'll go further down the field to Daniel Chang. Oh, looking for the reset. He gets it. He will look to drive this defensive, offensive set. Oh, will reset to Boche. The dominator movement from O doesn't come off. Boche will break the mark with an air bouncing backhand. It pops up in the air. It's handled well though. Robertson again. Chang. They're a little bit static down the field. Sublime, they're looking to be one out. Robertson gets a reset. Chilli happy to sit off a little bit. Robertson with a break. They're on the break side of the field. The around isn't there. They're on the doorstep. Schmidt goes back to Kylo. And he's going to break as well to Boche.
Oh, risky throw. That was a bit low.
It works out for Sublime. They go up 1-0 in the game. They take the first break, and off a wayward floaty throw, they strike first.
Now, Jackson and Kyle, the two that both just assisted with that and got the score there. They've been playing with each other a very long time. So even when you have those, oh, here we go. Let's watch this first of all.
So this, going back to the block, Pentland, he just put it in the air, that edge.
Yeah, that wind, I think, caught it a little bit and just couldn't quite get the hands to it. That's Wood there, one of their newer players who went for it then. And then, it's very low. But it works. It works.
Sublime more than willing to attack the break side early with their offense.
It was interesting, Sublime's offense then. It was, they were almost sending one person at a time to do the cuts. Quite comfortable with what it looked like a bit of a foot race, just going for it and going hard. I don't know how sustainable that is for a whole tournament, but look, it worked for the first point.
Well, Sublime have always been known for their physical and athletic play. That foot race, if the history is anything to go on, yes, that's going to be their plan for the tournament. As Caston settles underneath it and gets it in play, so Sublime are going to bring a defensive wrinkle. The around break to Pentland. Pentland thinks about it. Instead, he resets it. And Sublime, more than happy, just to hold this up a little bit. And Chilli, not with a clear plan by the looks of it, a bid from O. Pentland, working against Francois. A little bit of a chop on the mark, so
because it's self-umpired there, that what's happened there is that Jasper has said, hey, mate, you're giving me a bit of a knock. You can't do that. So they're having a bit of a chat about it now. And it looks like not contested, so Sam said, yep, fair enough, and it just comes back in.
Pentland. Oh, another bid. More than happy to get after it, Sublime. The dominator movement comes out. And Chilli, for a moment, had some momentum. Then the momentum is stopped. Another big bid. Lipari on the far sideline. Sublime are going to throw themselves at this one. Nice reset. Wood looking down the field. He's going to have to reset it. They're going backwards more than they're going forwards at the moment. Wood again. So far, they're not able to move it down the field. That's the first downfield cut in 4 passes. Pentland tries to get something moving. Dominator movement. Casted. Wood, a nice junky move to get up the line a little bit. The Sublime defense has come up with it. Monty Mazarai stepping in front, getting the block, and now they're just going to stick it. He's going to stick it all the way to Francois. Francois can't get there.
Great bid.
Well, Sam Francois, he has had to put the wheels on, and he's nearly got there. Asked a lot of.
So in Ultimate Frisbee, when you see a dive like that, we call that a layout, and it's pretty spectacular, pretty impressive to put your body on the line like that. So Sublime, when they first pulled that disc, so threw it down, they put on a zone, so they had a lot of people around the disc early. Interesting to see if they do that now.
Well, they're going to go back to the match. Oh, Wood can't get there. It pops up high, and Sublime will get another opportunity. Take a moment to settle the offense. The reset around to Lou. There's a pick call in the stack. Tell us a little bit about pick and what that is, Beck.
Yeah, sure. So a pick is when a defensive player is blocked by another player from chasing their person that they're marking up against. So in AFL, we'd call that shepherding. And so you can't do that in Frisbee. And so it just means that defensive player gets to catch up.
So making up his ground. And now Sublime still with the offense. Lou gets up the line. Lou for the goal. Sublime go up 2-0. Wow, what a start for the boys from Western Australia. Apparently they play pretty good frizz over there.
Yeah, we've been waiting to see what they've got, and they're certainly showing us, aren't they? So well done, well played by them. Just playing a much cleaner game. They are taking the early options when they're open. Chilli tends to be holding on to it, being a bit timid with the disc at the moment. And I think that'll change as they kind of play through these jitters. But Sublime have just got that aggression. They're just going for every single shot, and all of their cuts and runs are hard. And I mean, check out this defense. They're just going, they're here to play.
And what is it like when a player's out there and, you know, the opposition's, you know, throwing their bodies at it? What does that do to you mentally? Oh,
I think particularly Sublime would know, Chilli being quite a younger side, that's really intimidating, and it's really nerve-wracking when you see a 80, 90 kilo thing flying at the air to you, regardless of where the disc is and where that player is. That's really intimidating and can influence how you catch and your decision making even after you've caught it. So it can be a really effective defensive thing. However, we did see earlier, Kyle did do a layout, so he jumped for the disc, and then it left his player way open, which allowed them an easy pass. So there is a flip side to it. But a really good strategy. So we've got a timeout now, I believe called by Chilli.
Yeah, going down 2 breaks early, not where you want to be. I think Amy Chang on the sideline has found out some information for us. Amy.
Thanks, Daniel. Definitely with 2 breaks down, Chilli have called that timeout. Their main message in the timeout, stay clean, stay clinical, get the disc to the middle of the field.
Okay.
Smart words there.
Get the disc to the middle of the field. Let's see if they can follow those instructions. Coach Aldon, he knows a lot.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've learned in my experience of coaching is keep your messages clear and short. You don't want to give 50,000 messages of fixing all these different things. So having those 2 clear messages gives a really good direction for them for the next couple of points.
And as far as directions go, it doesn't really get much simpler than that. Get it to the middle of the field. It's pretty easy to understand that one. The Sublime defense, though, it ramped up the pressure in that second point. Chilli really struggling to get any kind of forward momentum down the field. They had to reset the disc 4 or 5 times before they saw any kind of meters, and even then it was only a few meters at that. So Bocce to give us a pull. He'll go outside in, a loopy one. It'll come down with a bit of velocity. Pentland lets it bounce, and it rolls deep into the Chilli end zone. This is better. Big bid from Bocce. Lapari with the disc. He breaks back to the middle of the field, and Galt. Sublime, they get their defense back on, so Chilli will now have to work from a little bit more of a static set as Wood. He's seen plenty of it early. Engages Pentland. Pentland gets up the line. He can't get free. Galt gets the reset late in the stall. Very, very static down the field. It looks like Chilli are running some sort of dominator isolation set with a lot of space down the field. The receivers all the way in the end zone, allowing the handlers space to try and get something. Oh, gets a big piece of it. It looks like he's shaking his head. He's not going to give it up easy, I don't think, Carlo.
So when two catch it like that at the exact same time, offense gets to keep it. However, if Kyle believes that he got it first, so we can watch here. Oh, I mean, hard to call it. So if Kyle believes that he got it first, oh, there you go. So it's going to offense.
I don't think Kyle ever really wanted to keep that. I think it was more just making a little bit of a point as Caston with the frisbee. He looks for Pentland. Pentland gets a little bit of space. Much bigger wingspan than the smaller O. Nice reset across the front of the face of the stack by Lipari. Lipari looking for Pentland again. Kyle wearing him like a cheap sweater. Caston in space. He's going to have a look. There is space there. It's in. The one that Chilli needed. They go back to 2-1.
The pressure there around the disc, Dan, that was amazing by Sublime. I want to say it was sublime by them. They just didn't have a chance. Like, it made it really, really difficult and just increased the pressure for the person with the disc to make them really feel like they had to just pop it up. Didn't pay off, but if they keep that up throughout the whole game, gosh, that's going to be hard.
But that's a nice moment for Chilli to understand that, hey, Sublime are bringing all this pressure, but we're good enough. We're equal to it.
Absolutely. And look, their message was to take it to the middle of the field. They did get stuck on the sideline for a little bit, but as soon as they centered it, look at it. So our Don, listen to your coach. He knows what's up.
Listen to your coach. Listen to your parents. Listen to your coach.
But well
listen
done
to your teacher.
Well done by Lopari to catch that under pressure. That was not an easy grab.
Well, I think this is the first time today we're going to see Geordie Halasay rip a pull for Hot Chilli. Pulling is one of those weird niche skills in Ultimate. You don't really pick someone for their pulling ability, but it's nice when someone has a decent rip on them. And, well, Halasay has that, and as I've talked him up, he's not really thrown that very well. So we'll maybe come back to that on his next one as Lou under to Mazarai. Another break for Antoine. Back to Mazarai. No. He holds it. And now, one of the rookies for this team. As Wardrop moves it out sideways. Mazarai flies under heavy contact. Another popping up pass. It's in the corner for Lou. They've done it.
Easy goal there. They made it seem easy. I'm saying easy. It's not easy.
It's Jeremy Ha rather with the goal. 3-1 Sublime's offense.
Absolutely.
Very, very in control. Chilli not really able to create any kind of pressure there. It was only really that one wayward throw that Monty Mazarai did really well with.
So Chilli, they're similar to what Sublime's been doing, put on what we call a zone, where they've got more people around the disc rather than matching man-to-man or player-to-player downfield. They only do it for a couple of passes, which is same as what Sublime's been doing. However, Chilli, they let a couple go through that initial zone for those couple of passes before they locked on to match defense. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue that when they're on defense or if they just go to their match.
What do you think they should do?
This early on in the game, I'd stick to the plan. Clean up what they're doing a little bit more. It's, game one. You've got to see what you can throw and what sticks. I tried a couple more times before I changed my plan.
Some excellent advice, and cool head under pressure is, well, it's handy in almost every sport, and especially in Ultimate, because one of the peculiarities of our sport is the stall count and the player that's counting to 10, often probably a little bit faster than they ideally should. Boche will be pulled. That's a pretty good one. Makes it to the end zone line. And Pentland brings it into Castlin. A nice sprinting pass out to Lipari. Pentland. Sublime are going to go with their zone. Pentland throws a bounce pass. That one hasn't been allowed since version 1 of the rules. It's got to make it on the full, and Kyle O will go to pick it up and bring it in. And so now Sublime go to work. Chang. Nice pass out to the middle of the field as Schmidt finds Robertson. O is free. He's got a lot of space and a lot of time to look at the end zone. He points to where he wants it. Boche gets the reset. And Chang is free in the corner. Sublime. They do it again. They break Chilli for the 3rd time this match, Beck.
Kyle just there. He's, okay, so, I mean, granted, he had a very young player on him, so he had Hudson on him for that point, which is great, and I think that that's awesome. And Hudson had him covered when he had the disc on the sideline. Kyle wanted to put it, and Hudson shut that down, but he just could not keep up with him. So you'll see here that we have the turn, unfortunately, just could not grab it. Kyle picks it up here, and he's just wanting to put it, but he's so calm. He just controls, tells his players where he wants them to go. He's a great leader. He's been a coach for a couple of years as well, so he's got that head on him to see a whole field. And I think that that's a real attribute and he's able to bring to a game.
When you're creating a team, do the personalities go into, how
it makes
you
a
create
difference.
things?
Yeah, it can be the difference between some selections of players, because you want to have a team that's going to be a cohesive unit and that are going to lift each other up and be a positive environment for everyone, rather than, that one polarizing player. They might be really good, however, are they going to drag other people down? And that's a risk.
Jeremy Ha pulling this time. He gets every piece of that. That one actually goes a few metres deep in the end zone. And so Pentland. Bid. Woods. Pentland in space. He goes fast down the field to Galt. Nice pass to Lipari. Lipari's going to send a low one. It's in.
What a grab!
It's in. They've scored. Micah Ramsey with a nice layout bid. Hot chili.
That quick movement, that ripped that open for them. Jasper's early quick movement, and then Lipari's vision to see him in that end zone. Maybe a little bit faster than he wanted it to go, but, there is a bit of a breeze, and it's a consistent breeze at the moment. But gosh, that was nice to see.
Well, Micah Ramsey showing some wheels to get there. We're going to cross to Amy Chang, who's found something out for us.
Thanks, Daniel. I've been observing the Chilli line calling, which happens at the beginning of each new point, and I've noticed that their coach has a very hands-off approach to the line calls, so it looks like he's really trusting and empowering his players to make those decisions on the line.
Often we'll see coaches go and join the field and make the line calls. Aldon standing on the sideline. What kind of coach were you, Beck? Did you get on there and make calls, or were you?
It depended on what the team needed at the time. I was working with a team with big personalities. So occasionally just had to go on there and just let them know what's up, because sometimes too many voices can be a problem. I know I have been noticing as well, Amy, that Al's been kind of having a few just conversations on the side. He's, that very old school style of coach where you don't need to be big and loud. You can just have those small comments.
Well, here's Geordie Hallisay to put it. And as I've talked him up, an absolute treat. And his first 2 pulls have been, well, the first one was mediocre, and that one is kind of garbage. Going out on the full.
So you'll see there that Kyle just popped his hands in the air. So what that means that he's taking what we call a brick.
And
so
what kind of advantage does that give to the offense?
Well, it means that they can set up in the middle of the field, and when there's a bit of a breeze and things like that, it gives time to set up a play. You can see he's walking up to the cross, so that's where he gets to take it, rather than a sideline where you can get a bit trapped.
Oh, it's through 3. I don't know how he's done that. He's threaded the needle, something shocking. It's come off, and will go to Boche. A nice underpass. Robertson combining. Alexa. Back to Kyle O. Bruce, as they call him. Robertson, who's finding himself at home. Oh, a pass that is kept in bounds. Excellent by Radu Alexa. Boche can't get it. He throws it out in front of O, who it was just a little bit early for him. It's a turnover, the first one of this Sublime team. Popko to pick it up for Chilli. And he's just going to reach all the way down the field. A huge bid. Michael Kelly getting horizontal. Popko asking a lot of him.
Looks like there's an injury from that. So it was a big jump, big leap. Probably just needs to, this early in the tournament, you don't want to be risking your body because you've got another 3 days to play. So smart move, head off, look after yourself so that you can maintain the tournament.
Michael Kelly actually got there. He had a big piece of that. His hand was on it, and he just wasn't able to catch it, so it's turnover.
That's lucky for Sublime.
Is a little bit. Sometimes luck is what you need. 4-2 the score, and Kyle O to bring it in. Boche goes up the line immediately. Chilli looking to run some sort of zone scheme. Boche gets a reset. He goes straight back around to Robertson, who's finding plenty of the disc at the moment, really helping this Sublime offense move down the field. Looking comfortable. Boche, high release to Alexa. Boche with the lefty. Robertson. They're working down the field. Chilli have transitioned into a match defense. Their single coverage down the field. Boche engages for a moment. Alexa gets a reset. He's going to break. A nice looking break to Boche. The cut to the corner isn't there. It may be a little bit mistimed. Boche looking to engage. Alexa trying to get free. The lefty again. Opening it up. He's going to put it in the corner. Sublime go up 5-2.
Now, you would have heard while that Chilli, when they got onto defense, there was lots of people from the sidelines screaming like, home, home, home. So what that's about is that's just letting the teammates know the force, so which way they want the disc to go. So you'll notice that often when they're marking up against the person who's got the frisbee, they're trying to make them just throw to one side of the field. That just makes it easier for the players downfield so they don't have to mark on both sides of the player.
And in that passage of play, Beck, we saw the disc get advanced by Sublime down the break side, what we call the break side, didn't we?
Yeah, so the break side is when you're managing to throw to the side that the defence don't want you to throw to. So when you're hearing that home or away or they're yelling out backhand, that's the defence telling the players on field which way they should be forcing the disc to go, and the goal of defence is to get that disc travelling just to that side of the field. Doesn't always work, and you know, the good throwers, it doesn't matter which way you force them, they're going to be able to throw it where they want to anyway.
Okay, Sublime to pull it in. They're up by 3 in this game and looking really good against an outfit, Hot Chilli, that are building. Oh, heavy pressure by Jeremy Ha. Can't get it. Lipari. Bit of mess in front of him. Caston, that rangy reach. Francois with pressure. Looks like there will be no call. Sam Francois gets himself a block. I wondered if that was going to come back. Yeah. It looked like there was a bit of a clash, but apparently not. Carpenter picks it up. Goes back to Ha. Jeremy Ha, the low throw. Will drop down the field. Sublime moving it well at the moment. McKenzie going to ask a lot of Mazarai. Can't get there. Wardrop, one of the newer players on this Sublime team. He's not afraid to put one in the end zone and say, hey, Monty Mazarai, one of the veterans, go chase that. Pentland will go back and pick this up. They'll get an opportunity, will Hot Chilli.
Take it easy, get a bit of a rest, suck some air in.
Chilli setting into a horizontal offensive structure. The downfield cutters are a little bit slow to get moving, so Pentland's a little bit stuck here. He'll get it off and get it going. Ramsey, Caston, and now Galt. And Galt's going to put it up. He's going to send it to Woods, and Woods is going to trip over. There might be a call.
I think that was Lipari going long.
It was Lipari, and It looks like there will be a call. Ryan Black involved in the play.
So the call there, I think Lipari is saying that he was tripped over, so he couldn't actually get to where he wanted to get to.
He's actually going to retract the call. And Black, oh, what hands up high by Montu Mazurai. So Sublime, they go a little bit faster. Wardrop going to Jeremy Ha. Oh, they like it to the boys. 6-2 the score. Sublime up in this game.
Sublime just playing a faster, cleaner version of Ultimate. They're taking every opportunity. You notice, like, right then, that was a perfect example. Ha came under and did a cut under, and then he realised he wasn't going to get it, so he turned around and he went deep. We'll quickly watch this first. Went deep. Oh, great D.
Yeah, Sam Francois getting up there and putting enough pressure on it. This was the errant throw to Monty Mazurai. He nearly got there, did Mazurai.
Right idea of a throw, just a bit too far in front.
Yeah, right space.
Yeah, so this one, that was him clearing from his initial cut where he cut under. So taking advantage of every opportunity. As soon as there's a player open, Sublime is seeing it and then just putting it out in front.
And when you say clearing, what is that? What?
You don't want too many people near the disc because that just creates a lot of chaos. And so often you'll see players running towards the disc quite hard, and then they'll suddenly turn and head back the other way. And so that's clearing out to give that space to other people to come into. In that situation, though, also turned it into an amazing cut to get the score.
Which, when you clear with intent, sometimes you do find yourself open, and a nice throw to Ha gets them another goal. Sublime looking really good at the moment. Enjoying this match, and at the moment, it is Chilli that need to find some answers. Caston, Woods, over his head to Pentland. And Pentland moves it quick to Hudson. Pentland goes back to Woods. Sublime using a zone to slow down the Chilli offense. Woods. You can hear the calls from the sideline as Sublime transition now into match. Single coverage along the field. Everyone one-to-one on their players. Caston catches the inside throw. Lipari getting involved.
So another one of those picks that we were talking about earlier. So Kyle was chasing after Lipari and then someone got in his way. So because that affected whether Lipari would have got it or not, it goes back to Miles.
Caston with a low one. Again, we see an unforced offensive error from Chilli. It's not the first time they've just thrown it away. There's no nice way of putting it, unfortunately. And James Glover to pick it up. Oh, and oh with a miscommunication. Daniel Chang thought for a moment he needed to come under. Kyle wanted him to keep going, and that's another turnover. An unforced offensive error for Sublime. Pentland will bring it in. Sublime make an adjustment. The audible was called. They go to a zone. Pentland working in a little bit of space. There's nothing really down the field, so you can see Pentland gesturing that he wants his players to move up so that they can make some progress down the field. And Kyle is assassinating Lipari at the moment. And now Woods is going to go with a really good looking flick. That's an excellent looking flick. And it's Hudson. Hudson. Huge. Hudson goes huge. What a catch there by young Matthew Hudson. 6-3.
Riley is a real up-and-comer for this. He's kind of made his way through a couple of B teams and he's now made it onto the big show. And boy, is he making a bit of a splash already.
Well, I think Riley Wood has maybe just picked up a nickname. We'll call him the Big Show from now on. That flick was, that's the that young players just dream about ripping. That's a 45 centimetre flat. Send it, laces out, go get it, young man.
And to maintain that body position, to stay in front and time that jump to get it just at the right time, that's not an easy skill. So credit to Hudson to get that. Now, in that point, you mentioned that Kyle was assassinating what in the zone. What do you mean by that?
Well, why don't you tell me? You're the expert here, Beck. I am just the pundit. They wheel me out of the retirement home just to come and call the games. You tell me. What is the assassinator?
All right. So when you're in a zone, often sometimes you'll find a player who is just generating a lot of movement. And so what you will do is you'll make sure that you're matching up on that one person just to keep them out of play because you're recognizing they're dangerous.
Halisay. All right, he's starting to warm up, is Geordie Halisay, because that's what we were talking about in the pre-game. As Sublime, they struggled to get the first pass off. Jeremy Ha gestures. They're working in a phone box at the moment. And Black is going to go for Monty Mazarai. Mazarai has to go a long way. He makes it with the wheels. He's on the doorstep. He looks, and there is a free player on the far side of the field. Sublime. 7th goal of the match. Mazarai going quickly over to Michael Vernon, who cleared the space.
Man, the wheels on Mazarai to get there. I was watching it. I didn't know that he was going to do it, but he's still got speed.
Ryan Black, one of the rookies. He rips a very nice forehand. There's only one person that ever had a chance of getting that, and that was Monty Mazarai. He got there easily in the end. Didn't even have to lay out. Vernon drags the two players, opens it up, and Sublime now 7-3, a comprehensive lead at the moment. They've played some great ultimate out there.
Oh, absolutely. And look, we wanted to see what they've been doing the last couple of years. They've definitely shown us. However, they do have a smaller squad than Chile, so they've got less players playing at the tournament. So game one, day one, everyone's got fresh legs, doing pretty well. They can run very hard. Will they be able to maintain this intensity for the 4 days? I don't know. They're a strong team. I know that they're very fit, but can they maintain this?
There's some very fit men out there. Kyle O, he's quite an animal in the gym, and well, Sam Francois was over here with his shirt off, and he has a hell of a rig on him, the young man. Penland. And now they go down the sideline. Hudson, he's going to lay it out. Goal in space. Chile. That's a really nice offensive point for them. Very smooth.
Jasper loves those give goes. If he could do that all day, he would be a happy man walking around with a big old smile on his face. He loves that cheeky, sneaky little just quick throw back and forward. And look, it works. It worked for them very well.
See Pentland really opening it up. Being such a tall man, a large frame, large wingspan, it's hard to cover in close proximity, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's something that I know that he's worked on over the years as he's continued to play, is his ability to be able to control his throws. And you know, he started out as that lanky defensive player, and now he's really come to, on offense, really controlling the pace of a game. Instrumental in Chile.
So we're on the doorstep of halftime. If Sublime score here, they'll take half. What do you think Chile need to do? Should they have called a timeout, perhaps?
They've already used one this half. I think they've done the right thing in not calling it yet, but I think they're going to have a bit of a chat with leadership at halftime.
Because they will have to find another gear as Hart receives. Oh, nice zone breaking throw through the middle there, Mazarai. Ha goes fast back to Mazarai. They break it straight through the middle, not really wanting to use any width. Sublime transitioning out as Bennett Carpenter just loops one up to Jeremy Ha. Ha breaks back to Monty Mazarai. These handlers very comfortable at the moment, just moving it and getting whatever they want. Now Vernon. Very, very tall man, Vernon. He's stuck with it though. Francois bails him out. And Bennett Carpenter is free. Vernon goes up the line. Francois is going to make a call. It did look like he got grabbed there by Pickett.
uncontested, so the stall will come back in on 0. Francois. Ha. Out to Carpenter. And Carpenter is going to put it out into space for Monty Mazerai. That's half-time. 8-4 the score. Beck Walbridge. Sublime are looking real good here.
They are looking very good, very strong, very confident. Their body language is showing a real confidence that Chilli just don't seem to have. They're walking taller, they're walking bigger, louder, prouder. And Chilli just are looking a little bit timid, a little bit shaken. We spoke about the physicality of the game, and I think that Sublime haven't necessarily been physical, but they've brought a presence to the field that can't be ignored. And Chilli are going to have to really bring some self-belief. I know that they've got their women's team sitting on the sideline now, so maybe that'll give them a bit of pep in their step.
Yeah, Chaos, the women's team over there, sitting on the hillside, getting some lunch perhaps before their game. It's a long day at these tournaments, isn't it, Beck? How does the tournament play work for Ultimate?
So depending on the different divisions, so we've got women's division and opens division. So I know that the men's team tend to have 4 games in a day today, and I was speaking to some of the women's teams. Some of them have got 3, some have got 4. So you get normally 1 game off on that day, which you'd use to rest and recuperate. But still, it's you could potentially have 100-minute games, and that's a lot of minutes of Ultimate for day 1. And they'll continue pool play until we get to the final series.
Well, Amy Chang has managed to pull aside Sam Francois for a bit of a chat.
Thanks, Daniel. I've got Sam here from Sublime. Sam, you've been locked away from the rest of Australian Ultimate for so long, and finally yourself and your team are back. What's it felt like to play?
Oh, it's been freaking amazing, to be honest. That first plane ride yesterday, it was so surreal. It was like, what's it like to be back on the plane? Yeah. And then now to be playing after 3 years. The boys are just super excited to come back and touch the grass.
Great. First exciting playing right, and then an exciting first game. That's really great to hear. Sublime have been playing a really physically aggressive game. I've noticed your teammates have been laying out. Notice you've been laying out heaps. What's that part of in terms of strategy?
To be honest, I think the team just really wants it. The team's ready to put their life on the line. Like I said, we've been waiting a long time to be out here, and we want to prove that we deserve to be here and win this tournament.
Great. It's really exciting to hear that passion that's going to carry you through the rest of the tournament. Finally, this is a good feeling. You're up so far. Do you think you'll stay confident for the rest of the game?
Definitely. We're very confident for the whole tournament, to be honest. We put a lot of work in. It's not just been a one-season thing. It's been a 3-year thing. We've worked on the fitness. We've worked on the skills. We're confident we can win this tournament. Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much, Sam. Good luck for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, you heard it here. They're very confident about the rest of the game. Back to you, Daniel and Beck.
Thanks, Amy. We're going to go to a quick halftime break here. We're going to watch some replays, and then we'll be back with the second half of this Opens match between Sublime from WA and Hot Chilli from Victoria. Between Sublime from Western Australia and Hot Chilli from Victoria. Beck Walbridge, we were talking in the halftime about Hot Chilli needing to make a change here.
Yeah, absolutely. We heard it from Sam himself. He said that they're confident, they've got the belief that they can win, and we're not seeing that same belief from Hot Chilli. So I think they need to change up the plan a little bit and a bit more belief.
All right, Geordie Hallisay to launch one. It's another pretty good one. I'm glad that he's backing up my call. And Hart moves it to Monty Mazerai. Vernon goes out, opening up space underneath for Sam Francois. Hart gets a sideways cut. They're working it down this right-hand side. And it looks like they're starting it how they finished up the first half. What a nice throw that is, just hanging it out there. Oh, Mazerai has to go low. He gets there. A stray one from Alex O'Neill. O'Neill gets up the line. Jeremy Ha going inside, drawing the contact. He is going to call the foul. It's going to be uncontested. Peter Magoo.
interesting choice to throw that whilst with a knee on the ground.
Well, drawing the contact, you can call the foul and have a free throw. San Francois in space. Yep, Sublime are off. They're starting their second half the way they finished their first. Very, very cool, calm, collected. Straight in the end zone they go for their ninth score of the game.
So one thing I've noticed about Sublime when they are on offense is that they're actually got their players, their downfield players, actually quite deep. So they're starting their cuts from quite deep in the field. As they get closer to the end zone, obviously that compresses a little bit, but they're starting quite deep, which just gives their players so much space to run around in. And they end up just beating Chile to the open space every time because they've just got so much space to move and play with.
A little bit of a blown coverage actually on that play. See, we're just getting the defender turned around completely. And it was a routine open side throw, something that these teams would normally do as a warm-up, less so than a drill, and expect to complete pretty much all of their passes in that kind of situation.
Yeah, they're just Sublime just don't seem to have an off switch by the look of it.
That's a good problem to have when you're playing Ultimate. It'll be Boche to pull. He has the disc in hand for Sublime at the moment. Boche has been using the outside in, instead goes inside out on this one. Woods settles underneath it, gets it in play to Caston. And Sublime bring that zone again. Woods with width, Pentland. And now it's Hudson. Uncontested. Ryan Schmidt not going to argue that one. The disc did come out in a weird way, so probably as a result of arm contact or hand contact by the looks. So Hudson gets another go. Caston. A low throw that's gathered pretty well by Micah Ramsey. Caston gets a reset. A reset pivots into it. It's a low one. Oh, Lipari under pressure. He coughs it up.
He'll be disappointed with that one.
Well, he had it, and then he didn't have it. So James Glover. Oh, and Lipari's just going to say, well, I don't like that, young man. I want the Frisbee back. A layout point block, which was probably actually going to be a turn anyway because the reset had gone up the line. Kirsten, a low one. Lipari. Can Lipari provide the spark that they need? He gets around, he gets up the line. Glover struggling. Caston is covered well by Boche. Woods, Jinx. Doesn't get free, though. It's going to go into the end zone. Kyle O popping up, getting the block. Well, they needed that, did Sublime. There's the outcut from Alexa. O decides to get foot blocked. It's Woods with a clean one.
Now, one thing I've learned, you don't want to make Kyle O angry. And I reckon that foot block might have put a little bit of extra fire in his belly. Not saying that it'll convert to anything right now, but Wood should be pretty proud of that because that's on a Croc player, which is pretty high caliber player.
Caston. Lipari working in a phone booth. Oh, he draws the bid from Boche and then just backs up to catch the easy flip. 9-5.
Lipari there really lifting for the team. That, I mean, yes, he did drop it, but one thing that a leader can do is when they make a mistake is quickly rectify that mistake, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, rectify it he did. We go back to the drop where, well, it just pinged off the hands. And then it was Glover who got absolutely hand blocked. That's as clean as you like. That is an excellent play by Lipari. Come back to Kyle O getting involved. Lots of action in this point. It was
Absolutely.
Bang, 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 turns left, right, and center. And see Woods actually stepping off, just setting up for that around, and then just gets a toe on it. Let's swing over to Amy Chang on the sideline.
Thanks, Daniel. I've just had a quick chat to Al, the coach of Chile, and he was saying their focus has not drifted from what they said in the first half. It's going to be focusing on execution, really clean execution. They want to shake off the nervous start, and it looks like it's worked for them.
So nerves is what Al Down is putting
the first half performance down to? I'm not sure I agree with him because Sublime are playing pretty well. Halisay. He's going to rip another good one. Is it going to come back in? It just faded late. Oh, it's just in. What a pull by Halisay. And Ha will be in his own end zone to start. They're a little bit deep, Sublime. Not really expecting the zone. Mazarai will get it down to Ryan Black. And they're away. There's lots of players just streaming down the field. McKenzie goes back to Black. Mazarai just taking a moment to let the offense settle. Oh, that is a face throw. McKenzie gets it. There's a pick down the field, so play will stop. And it's probably just as well.
Now, rules recently changed on this. So this will be a little bit interesting to see what happens, is because if the pick, the stoppage, affected the play, then that wouldn't be a turnover. It goes back to the person who had the disc. If the person who has the disc still throws it and it does not affect the play, should theoretically be a turnover because he threw it away. We'll see.
Do you think this should be a turn then, Beck?
I think it should be a turnover, but I'm not on the field.
I agree with you. I think this should definitely be a turn. But there's always confusion because the pick call happened a long time ago.
Absolutely. And potentially other players could have made cuts. So you can argue both.
Yeah.
So you'll notice there are some people in green on the field at the moment. They are the advisors.
Yeah, the game advisors. I did have a quick chat with all four of them that are here this weekend, and they're always a big help. So McKenzie gets it right the second time. Jeremy Ha is going to... Oh, that is a speculator if ever there was.
So we had this in the last game as well, where if you... Oh, bit of a chat. So if you jump and your feet don't touch out of bounds and you throw it back in, it's still disc in play.
Wow. Wouldn't that have been something? Ha goes big. Chilli having to work it off the sideline. They work it out. Halisay takes a hit. It looks like he will call foul. There's Michael Vernon. That's a big man flying. Halisay. Instead, goes for the reset. Gonzalez Correa. It will stay with him, not affecting that reset throw. Oh, that's a bit of a... Yes! No! Sam Francois has not come up with that, and I don't know how. It is going to be a turnover. Stephen Thomas is a magician of some description, and Nathan Payne has dropped the throw. So Ryan Black will work. Oh, he's just going to put it. He's going to stick it. Monty Mazarai. Monty Mazarai.
That was bold. He didn't even look upfield.
Lou has... there's been a little bit of contact between Mazarai and Lou. They're going to discuss this. Mazarai, he got there. He got his right hand to the Frisbee.
I think we were like... Sorry. Do you want to... Just like... Yeah.
Finish what you're going to say first.
Sorry. So I was running, and then you leapt from, I think, just slightly behind, so we matched the same, like, body at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was going for the disc as well. I was going for my right hand.
So I really felt that I was in front.
Yeah.
Had a play at the disc, made the play. While I've made the play, there's been contact.
Right.
And so I feel it's a foul.
I would say that I'm going for the same disc, so I'll contact. Yeah.
Can I get your perspective?
Yeah.
It looked like you're fairly even when you jumped, and then that's what put you in front. And whether that jump put you into the contact or not, I don't know. It's hard to tell who initiated contact from the side I was standing at.
So even though I was like in front of him and the disc, it doesn't matter. Like, well, what's the rule? I guess is just as long as we're both making an even play.
Yeah. So there was nothing really dangerous about either player, it's hard to tell who initiated the contact there, whether you've jumped in front or whether you jumped and then the contact came from your opponent. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not clear.
Okay.
Who's initiated that.
Okay.
So the best thing is to contest it.
All right. Sure.
Contest. Okay, fantastic. Contested.
Okay, so they just will come back. We heard all of that. And I just want to point out something. Monty Mazerai convinced he was in front, but we can see on the replay that he wasn't. And it's a really key point in Ultimate where you're running and playing, and he felt like he was in front, and he just wasn't. So this is where you're entitled to your perspective. He kind of felt like the contact from Lou from the left-hand side of his body affected his play. And positioning really not important. It was more the contact, did it affect what happened? We'll come back to it because I want to get your thoughts on it, Beck. As Mazerai throws a floater, Ha claims it in front of Vernon. Ha looking down the field, trying to get something. Black gets up the line, the inside throw. Sublime taking a breath. Francois around the corner to create some width for the offense of Sublime. Black slips on the reset. Ha is all kinds of free. Black to Jeremy Ha. Jeremy Ha with the frisbee. They're a little bit deep. Francois gets up the line. Francois is going to score the goal for 10-5. And let's go back to the call. Beck, I want to get your opinion on this. What do you think?
Look, the amount of times that I've been on the field and I've thought 100% that I'm in the right, and then someone shows me a photo, or I look at footage and I go, oh, whoops. So I can understand where Mazerai is coming from and the fact that he thought that he was in the right place. However, I think in that situation, they did the right thing. They spoke to the advisor. I think the advisor gave what they saw as neutrally as possible, and I think that it was the correct outcome in the end. Yeah, it's great for us to sit here and go, oh, no, like, definitely, he wouldn't have got that. But
it's one of the joys of being a pundit. We can
exactly.
sit here and make up whatever stories we want.
And look, looking at the footage, I don't know that he would have gotten it if there was no contact anyway. But, again, you don't know. You have no idea.
You see, and that's where I would disagree. It seemed like that bump just put him a little bit off balance as he was bidding, and it maybe just threw him off, and that's why he didn't catch it. We could... this is the kind of thing that you could discuss over several beverages of the fizzy variety and have a great time doing it. Glover has found himself with disc in hand, and he's going to pull one of the rookies. Giving old man Jason Bocce to the nod and saying, all right, old man, have a breather. I'll take this one. Caston now for Chile. Woods, it's another low throw. The third one today, a miscued throw. Hot Chili just coughing up the disc way too cheaply, and this is deep in the red zone. Jackson Bocce to direct the offense. Kyle O in space, working against Galt. He can't get free. He gets it eventually. There's the timed cut. Oh, it's a face throw that is too hot for Ryan Schmidt to handle.
The wind has picked up a little bit in the last, I guess, minute or so, which potentially impacted that throw that Miles threw. Just a little bit stronger than it was and a little bit more consistent.
So Chile having to work against the match defense for Sublime. Throw on the inside. Galt under a heavy pressure from Kyle O. It looks like the disc will stay with Galt. And now, we'll throw to Lipari. Lipari looking for Woods. Galt all the way to the sideline, using every inch of the field. Lipari can't get the easy reset, so Galt has to go for the second one. Lipari bids and catches. Lipari with a low one. Kyle O gets himself a block. I don't think it was going to end up in the hands of a Chile player. Now, another throw out. Oh, that is a great catch up high. The assist by Radu Alexa, sending it all the way out to that far side of the field.
So Chile again just showing that they're a force to be reckoned with for a while. And yeah, so I think Chile are just going from strength to strength.
Well, you've got an interesting stat about Hot Chili.
Potentially. I'm unsure. I
think you're right.
This. Yeah, so it just occurred to me that there's number 42 running around there, which famously belongs to a very prestigious player on Chile, that I am surprised that that number is being allowed to be worn, because I know that Tom Rugaki I think, from my memory serves me correctly, was 42 for a very long time. I could be wrong. We probably need Simon Talbot to confirm that for us.
Or maybe even John Greenfield, one
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
historians in Australian Ultimate.
But yeah, for a new player to be allowed, often teams will retire numbers with the greats. So I'll do some fact checking and get back to us on that one.
Because that's a hell of that's a really big jersey to fill. If 42 is the number that the GAC ran around in for many years, and now you've got it, that's good luck with that one. That's some broad shoulders. A nice pull by Black. Caston catches it, centers it to Woods. And Woods has played well. Nice break back to Caston. Sublime bringing this loose zone, looking to slow down the Chile offense that's really not gotten going this game. And Pentland is going to blaze away with a wild one. Well, it was a 6'7" Michael Vernon, who was 5 meters off the sideline, who actually caught that. And Hot Chili give it up again. They give Sublime an opportunity. Jeremy Ha just conferring and figuring out where this went out of bounds. Gets brought in. Black. Oh, it pops off his hands. He has the beard. He can't get it. So Sublime off one pass. Give it straight back to Hot Chili.
Rare mistake there from Sublime, sorry. They haven't had many unforced errors.
Caston. Woods trying to get free. Gets it. And now throws the inside pass to Ramsey, to Galt. And Galt is just going to go with an outside in to Caston. It's huge. It's huge. Oh. He gets it. The rangy Caston. And he's going to throw the goal as he likes it. He gives a point. And before it's even caught, he's walking off the field. Miles Caston loves it.
Sometimes those go-go gadget arms are good for something, hey.
Wow, good for something. A humongous bid by Alex O'Neill. I thought he had it. That disc hung out there, and I thought it was going to be all O'Neill. It's the rangy Miles Caston who catches it, stands up, throws it, doesn't even worry about the minor detail of catching it, points and walks off the field.
Now, I wanted Chile to show a bit more confidence. There's the confidence that we needed. Oh, that is, I mean, that's very unlucky his defense to not get that. Oh.
He hadn't even caught it. He pointed. He's walking off the field. He says, that's it, boys. That's what we need. I love it. Miles Caston, one of the captains as well. It was Matthew Hudson who caught the goal.
The change in wins that we needed, perhaps.
Probably one of the easier goals he'll catch this weekend at a standstill at chest high.
Now, it can confirm number 42 was Tom Ragaki's number, so interesting that it hasn't been retired.
To pull for Hot Chili is Geordie Hallisay again. This win probably favours the lefty. He's pulled it a long way sideways. It might drift out of bounds. It will get down inbounds though. A nice pull. And breaks all the way out to Jackson Boche. Boche's just nodding down the field. I'm not sure what he saw. Chile brings some sort of zone to slow it down. Make Sublime throw some extra passes through the hands of Schmidt. Boche, middle of the field. Robertson. Boche. Kyle O. He's going to have a travel called on him. Victor Pupko has seen that once before, and it's going to go to the good old travel call.
That's a good question, actually.
So he thinks I slowed down and then sped up for my next step, so within 2.
I thought it was you can't speed up in the 2 steps.
I felt I just had my same pace for those 2 steps. It was just a longer step. So it'll come back to me then, I guess, if it's contested?
Yep.
Okay, so you hear the 2 points of view there. Pupko is thinking that Boche had sped up, and Boche saying that no,
stayed the same speed. Anyway, it stays in the hands of Sublime, just a brief interlude. Kyle O. He's going to go back to Alexa.
So another pick called. Been a few this game.
But generally, as the teams get higher and higher in quality, their offenses become better spaced and picks happen rarer and rarer. We'll do Alexa. He's going to go to O. He's going to break it, create some width.
Not quite far enough in front.
Yeah, Jackson Poche had dropped that. And Popko just deals with it. So Chile get a turn. And now an opportunity to break Sublime. Well, they need this. Gonzalez Correa to the middle of the field. And now, oh, it's asking a lot, but he's read it so well. Peter Mugos catching for Hot Chili and a break. Beck Walbridge, do we have a fight back on our hands?
Gosh, you love to see it, don't you? I mean, I think it would be a shame if Hot Chili were to come back and win it from here. They would deserve it, but I think Sublime have just played a better game for the whole game so far. Hopefully Sublime can keep their head up and about and not let this get to them mentally, because this is when you get tested as a team, and this is when you actually see what teams are made of, and this is the difference between being able to play in the big games on the final day or not, and it comes down to your mental strength and your ability to switch on after coming down a couple of points. So it'll be interesting to see what Sublime do now.
Well, what they're going to do is they are going to go on offense. They really don't have a choice about that one. The rules of the game being what they are. But in terms of strategy and tactics, Sublime brought a little bit of a soft zone, something that Sublime have been using. Do you think that they'll go back to that, or they hit an out-and-out zone, Beck?
Oh, for Chile, you mean, sorry?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they'll go to their junk, so a zone for a couple of passes and then into match. We'll see.
Jordy Halsey, another good pull from him. He's definitely evened out the ledger. The good pulls outnumbering the bad. Bennett Carpenter goes back to Ha. And Ha with that low, well-balanced pivot, breaks it through the middle. Vernon and Black, and now Carpenter, Monty Mazarai. Mazarai finds Ha. There is a bit of a collision in the middle of the field.
So you'll notice Chile went from in their zone to matching up, and that's often when picks can occur as players are trying to find their match. So I think that's what's happened here, is there's been a bit of confusion and trying to find their players.
There's a bit of a height match up there between Victor Popko, who's one of the units of this Chile team, and Jeremy Ha, who is substantially shorter than him.
Lock in, nice Johnny. Let's go, Johnny.
All right, Sublime. The wind is getting a little bit gusty. Oh, that's a wobbler. And just as I say it, Wardrop drops it. So Hot Chili get an opportunity, and if they punch this in for 11-8, that is a huge moment. It is going to be a timeout call. Victor Popko calls the timeout and walks straight off the field.
That was a game Chile way. Have it at the start and put a
offense. So it's always shortly.
Energizing on offense, but more curiously.
Okay, the comeback song.
So after a timeout like this, offense, they get to set themselves up, and once they get into position, they're not allowed to move anymore. And then defense gets a chance to put themselves in the right position.
So it'll be a horizontal rather for Chile. They go to work, and can they do it? As Payne looking for Popko, can't find him, and Payne fits with close and tight one in there. He'll get it back. Chile with energy out of the timeout. Lou. Oh, a big bid. Can't get there. And Chile on the doorstep. It's Lou who scored for 8-11. For a long time, Sublime have been that team that ruins someone, gets to the quarterfinals and then loses.
are we seeing perhaps a little bit of that old genetics of Sublime that just struggle to close out games?
I tend to think that I think, one, they haven't had a chance to play against a lot of teams. They haven't been up against this type of situation for a long time. So those newer players, they're learning now how they've got to dig deep, how they get themselves psychologically back into the game to play at their peak. This is when you have your experienced players that showing through leadership, how you stay on top, stay ahead of your game, keep yourselves cool, and not try and do anything too tricky and fancy to win. I mean, I said at the start of the game I was worried about legs, I was worried about fatigue. Sublime seemed to be playing a bit of a flatter game than they were at the start. Is that physical or mental? Don't know. But yeah, it's just interesting. It'll be interesting to see who they Sublime put on this point and what they do with it.
And the turnover in that point was, I think it was Bennett Carpenter that threw an absolute wobbler, and Alex O'Neill couldn't catch it. Two of the rookies involved in giving Hot Chili that opportunity. And then Hot Chili just brought a lot of fire on that offensive opportunity to punch it in. Halasay. Oh, this is probably the best pull of the day. That's just going to hang, and he's gone the complete wrong way as Glover. That is sat in the back of the end zone. Jordy Halasay has decided he's going to do what he can. Oh, it's a Callahan country. Chang catches it. He goes back to the middle to Kyle O. And O is just going to direct traffic. Sublime deep in their own end zone. Chang has to do something. The stall count is going to get high. He's in trouble. And they're at the back of the end zone. They're going to break it now through Glover, Robertson, and Alexa. Oh, it's going to pop off the hands of Glover. He catches it anyway. They're away. Chang with a real flat one. Oh, that's a laser. And Sublime, oh, doesn't that lift the attitude and the feeling in the game to be pinned that deep and then go all the way to the other end of the field?
I think some very cool, experienced heads in that end zone had a lot to do with that score there. Most people, when they're stuck that deep in the end zone, will panic, and it makes it very easy as a defensive player to get that score, but they just kept a cool head, easily broke it through that zone, and it just ripped it right apart.
I think that's probably the longest point in terms of distance we'll see this weekend. That one was about 98 metres long from the back of their own end zone to the back of Chili's end zone. Sublime go all the way for their 12th score of the match.
We didn't actually see it on the screen, managed to get it on the footage, but the Sublime boys were all over each other after that point. I think they knew that they needed that point to keep themselves in the right spot to get the win this game.
Still plenty of time as well, Beck. There's 28 odd minutes left. Played at a cracking pace. That's a pretty good pull there. Is it going to stay in? No, it's just going to drift. Needing a little bit of wind to hold that in bounds. Doesn't get it. So Miles Caston will get himself a brick. And he'll take the disc 1/3 the way up the field in the middle and start Hot Chili's offense from there. Sublime going to go with their soft zone. Potentially look to transition after they've stopped a few of the easy throws. That's the Big Show Wood. Oh, and he's turfed it. Another unforced throwaway by Chili. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Mazurai with a bidding Lipari on his hip. And another bid, this time from Woods. It's McKenzie with the frisbee. Sam Francois, it's an inside shoulder. Ha comes flying in and can't get it. Micah Ramsey doing enough to make sure of it. Pentland gets it off. And now Hudson. And Hudson for a moment thought about it. Woods instead resets it. Sublime, their defense is back on. And Woods gets free up the line. He's got a lot of space.
2, 3, 5.
Woods for the reset. The trapper's on. That's a high one, probably to the advantage of Caston, who is quite the tall man. Oh, Ramsey
He's going to have to do a lot. It pops off his hands, and somehow Woods has just snaked the pack and drifted in. There will be a foul call. That is an interesting call. I'm not sure who fouled whom.
I think Micah might be saying that he was fouled by Sam, potentially. A lot of input from a lot of players on the field there.
So Woods is just going to keep it.
Tight, Macca, tight, Macca, you,
Woods is going to go inside to Caston with a nice breaking forehand. He gestures under, Lipari goes out instead. And now Jasper Pentland looking down the field. The Chile offense is looking better than it did in the first half. They're starting to click and get some movement down the field. Vernon bids. Pentland. Oh, Caston rather is going to reach for Lipari. And Lipari, he's starting to come into this game and really show he's one of the leaders.
That was a great throw there, just the right amount of leading pass, so he threw it just far enough in front of his player that his player didn't have to work too hard to block any Sublime players out.
And Jeremy Hart turning himself into a human missile for a moment there.
I think that's most of the Sublime players, isn't it?
Maybe we should just call this the Sublime Scud defense after the old Scud missile. Bodies flying around everywhere, and you love to see it. You love to see the athleticism. Miles Caston, that's an excellent throw. It's perfect out in front of Haar, and Josh Lipari is having a great game here.
Now, you would have noticed during that point, you would have heard some counting, like someone counting 1, 2, 3. So because it's self-umpired, the players have to count the stall count, and if they get to the starting to say 10, we say the t of 10, which kills me as a teacher to say because t is not a sound. Anyway, and so as soon as they get that initial sound out, that then potentially is a stall out, and so that would mean that it's a turnover. So if you're hearing the counting, that's what that's about.
We'll come back to how that's not a sound. I need to know more about that. But we're going to go with a forehand roller pull that's going to go out of bounds. That's a really nice pull, actually. And the advantage of this pull is it gets the defense to set up on the sideline.
So unlike when it lands out on the full, where you can come and bring it into the middle of the field at that brick mark, if it rolls out, you have to take it on the line.
And when it's executed well, it can create a situation like this, where now Sublime have to break this zone that is fully set up. It looks like a 1-3-2-1. And Boche working in close order. As now Robertson gets involved. Boche more than happy to play in the space provided by Sublime, and then he breaks it with a really nice hammer. And that's Alexa. Alexa's just going to... Well, you saw it coming, and for a moment, you were like, no, Radu Alexa, don't throw it, mate. Just hang on to it.
But
and he
so
threw
exciting.
it.
It's so exciting.
And Lewis Fitter has got himself a layout block. Gonzalez Carrera is going to reach with a big outside in. It's misread by Nathan Payne.
Now, I just want to say that layout beard, Aldon normally isn't an externally emotional man. There was a big noise from Aldon after that layout.
Perhaps him knowing what it is. Oh, and a bit of a floater. Kyle O gets it, moves it to Radu Alexa. And O just running rings around Nathan Payne at the moment. A much bigger man, a big inside breaking disc to Wardrop. And Wardrop forward, bidding Payne, it goes the wrong way. And Wardrop to Boche, and Boche enjoyed it. He is very much a goal enjoyer.
I tell you what, Hot Chili, they've shown a bit more of what they can do. I think they've still got some things they need to tweak, and those unforced errors have really cost them dearly in this game so far. But they're starting to stand up a little bit and show what they've got.
I think that is a good introduction to Division 1 Ultimate for Alexa Radu. He You can't make those throws, unfortunately, at this level. They're too big, too fast. If it's not really open, it's probably not open. And that's an excellent play by Lewis Fitter. There's full credit to him. He was there, but he still had to make the play.
Absolutely. And as I've said before, to make that play on defense, I find is a little bit more difficult to do than on offense because there's a bit more risk.
And also less time to react. The disc often coming when you're not totally expecting it. Woods, centers to Pentland. Sublime bring their softer zone as they've done all game so far. Pentland. Miles Caston. Caston with an outside in flick. Woods, you hear the calls from Sublime. They're drifting back into single coverage. Hudson, who's played well. Woods, who's been really good. Oh, and I put the total mocker on him as he throws it away. No, he's going to ask for this one back on a foul call. It's one of the more tongue-in-cheek jokes in Ultimate that never thrown a break backhand that wasn't fouled. It looked... didn't look like...
Yeah, I don't know if... Yeah, I'm loving this call, but that's, you know, I'm not on the field. I didn't feel anything.
Ryan Black hasn't contested this. He's uncontested, so...
Obviously, there was something there.
Obviously. Otherwise, there would be a bit of a discussion. I wouldn't say a raging argument, but definitely a discussion. Caston will get the disc, and now he's going to go with the forehand again. Puts the springs on and goes into orbit. Hot Chili, nice goal for them. That's their 10th of the match.
They're making them work for it. So we're down to, what, 19 minutes left in this game. Game to 15.
Presumably.
Yeah, like, I mean, it sounds easy, but Sublime just need 2 points.
Yeah.
However, Hot Chili not going to make it easy for them, and they're really they're making them work for it, which I think is good.
Because this game in the first half didn't look particularly close. The Sublime were firing on all cylinders. Looked like they just played a hard tournament against the best in Australia, and we hadn't seen them in 3 years. But that fire has faded here as Hot Chili have become more comfortable in this match.
And I spoke earlier about the body language of Sublime. If you look at it now, it's just not quite what it was. There isn't the same strut. There isn't the same chest puffed out kind of confidence and swagger that they had early on. So, yeah, Hot Chili really being able to kind of take the wind out of their sails a little bit in this half. Is it enough, though, to get them the win?
Well, at this stage, the equation is really simple. Hot Chili need 5, Sublime need 2. And they've got 18 minutes to do it. Geordie Hallisay on camera right there, disc in hand, ready to pull. So really come into this game with the pulling duties. Has put up pretty much every single one for this Hot Chili D-line. There's only been the one pull where he wasn't the man. Smartin is a bit lower, less distance than he managed the last time around, which placed and pegged Sublime so deep. Oh, goes to the lefty. Robertson to Jackson Boche. And Boche's going to go to Chang. Oh, a huge bit by Fitter. He can't get to that one, though. And now, Alexa. Radu Alexa has a moment. He resets to Kyle O. Boche in the front of the end zone.
Do you think there was a bit of a lesson learnt there from Sublime after watching that Chili point going, you know what, I just got it long. I'm just going to hold on to it, reset it, throw it into the middle rather than try and force it quickly into the end zone.
I think there's a lot to that, that's for sure. But can you tell me about how the sound is not a real sound?
Oh,
that sounds like a dental stop. Is it a dental stop?
In education at the moment, it's all about phonics, and there is no letter that makes the sound T. That is not a sound. It makes a T sound. There is a difference there. So if you're teaching your children at home, let them know. It's not, the letter T does not make a T sound. It makes a T sound. Just there you go, a little bit of educational advice for you.
Because in Ultimate, we've got people from all walks of life, don't we?
Absolutely. But yes, I don't think many people are learning English from counting to 10 on the field.
Well, there are stranger ways in which we've learnt things. And why not? If you do what you enjoy, I think there's a lot to be learned. And Woods is going to go all the way over to Mile. Caston. Panlin. Caston. Sublime transitioning now into match. Oh, huge, humongous bid by Vernon. I don't know how he has managed to get past Hudson. So now Jeremy Ha walking to the disc. Sublime going out of their diagonal stack as they have pretty much the entire game when it's on the sideline. Seems to be a set structure for them. Francois, McKenzie, Matthew McKenzie looking. Everyone goes up the line. It's a high-style situation that Jeremy Ha puts it in. They punch it in. That's it. That's the game. San Francois gives a kick spike. They're done here. That's 15-10. Sublime run out. Deserved winners in this match.
Oh, they had us a bit nervous at the end there, didn't they? I thought that Hot Chili had swayed the momentum there, and I didn't know that if the inexperience of Sublime could pull that out and continue to stay on top, but they did. They showed us that they could, and they did. Is that going to get them all the way in this tournament, though?
Well, that is the big question. Final thoughts from you, Beck. How do you think Sublime are going to go based upon that performance?
I think Sublime learnt a few lessons in that game. I think that those younger athletes on that team will be learning, taking away from that how they need to stay mentally on top. And I think for Hot Chili, again, they've just got to fix those unforced errors. They had some pretty clean stuff when they got over those initial jitters. But once they get those unforced errors out, I think they're going to have a lot more to show us.
Well, I think Amy Chang has managed to pull aside Jeremy Ha, who is going to give us an interview. Amy, over to you.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your win. I've got Jeremy Ha from Sublime here. Jeremy, how's it feel to grab that win?
That's a really good win. We've come out really strong. We've travelled obviously from Perth. We haven't had an opportunity to play against a lot of these teams for a long time. And we've really relished this opportunity to play against that high level. We've enjoyed it a lot, and it was great fun to put a win on the board straight away.
Oh, it was great to watch, and I'm sure the audiences at home loved it too. You've got a bit of a gift for us. Do you want to show that off?
Yeah, so one of our boys, they started the strength code. They are the strengthening coach for our team and for the Chaos team as well. So they've done really well here, the strength code.
Oh, great. A little bit of extra product placement for us today. We noticed on the line your team has a bit of a ritual before the pool comes up when there's a new point. Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, so we give a clap right before we start our points. This is a way for us to reset and really get into the mode of the game. That means that we pipe out all other distractions and we're all focused just on the point that's happening.
Great, and I suppose focusing on the points is really important. There were a couple of points there where Chile, they were starting to sneak back up. Was anyone a bit nervy about it?
Not really. I think that's part of the game. The game ebbs and flows. The other opposition will get opportunities to run and play. I think we just went back to what we did really well, which is communications and giving each other energy from the sideline. So that's what our strengths are.
Fantastic. Congratulations again on the win. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thanks, and back to the box.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, that sock actually came off the foot of San Francois. You see them actually passing it back. He's got nothing on the left foot.
So teams there opting for a COVID-safe spirit circle, which I think is very appropriate. Unfortunately, a couple of teams have got some positive cases around them. But, yeah, what a great game. A great way to start their tournament for both teams. I think